module, we will discuss irrational numbers. We know that square roots of 2, 3 and 5 and pi are irrational numbers. In general, square root x is irrational where x is a prime number. We can have a simple definition of irrational numbers. A number is called irrational if it cannot be written in the form of p upon q, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0. We need to understand the following theorem in order to prove a given number irrational. According to this theorem, for a prime number p, if p divides a square, then p also divides a, where a is a positive integer. Let us now prove it. Let the prime factorization of a be as follows. A is equal to p1 into p2 into p3 and so on till pn, where p1, p2, p3 till pn are prime numbers and are not necessarily distinct. Therefore, on squaring both sides, a square is equal to p1 into p2 into p3 till pn into p1 into p2 into p3 till pn, which is equal to p1 square into p2 square into p3 square up to pn square. Now, we are given that p divides a square in the theorem. Therefore, from the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, it follows that p is one of the prime factors of a square. However, using the uniqueness part of the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, we know that only prime factors of a square are p1, p2, p3 up to pn. So p must be one of p1, p2, p3 up to pn. Now, since a is equal to p1 into p2 into p3 till pn, therefore p also divides a. Using the above theorem, we are now ready to prove that square root of 2 is irrational. Let us base our proof on the method called proof by contradiction. To prove square root of 2 as irrational, let us assume to the contrary that square root 2 is rational. So we can find integers r and s where s is not equal to 0, such that root 2 is equal to r upon s. Suppose r and s have a common factor other than 1. Then we divide r and s both by the common factor to get root 2 equal to a upon b, where a and b are co-prime. Remember, co-primes are those numbers which do not have any common factor other than 1. So, on cross multiplication, we get b root 2 is equal to a. On squaring both sides and rearranging, we get 2b square is equal to a square, call it 1. This implies, taking 2 to the other side, we get b square is equal to a square divided by 2. Therefore, we can say that 2 divides a square. Now, from the already proved theorem, it follows that 2 also divides a. Thus, we can write a is equal to 2c for some integer c. Then, on substituting a is equal to 2c in 1, we get 2b square is equal to 4c square. Divide both sides by 2. This implies that b square is equal to 2c square. So this means 2 divides b square, and from the earlier proved theorem, 2 also divides b. Therefore, A and B have at least two common factors, that is, factors 1 and 2. But this contradicts the fact that A and B have no common factors other than 1, as they are supposed as co-primes. This contradiction has arisen because of our incorrect assumption that square root 2 is rational. We therefore conclude that square root 2 is irrational. Rational numbers and their decimal expansions. In this module, we will discuss the decimal expansion of rational numbers. We know that rational numbers have either a terminating decimal expansion or a non-terminating repeating decimal expansion. Now, we will discuss a rational number, say P upon Q, where Q is not equal to 0, and explore exactly when the decimal expansion of P upon Q is terminating and when it is non-terminating repeating or recurring. First, let us take rational numbers which have terminating decimal expansions. We have a theorem for identifying rational numbers with terminating decimal representations. Let x be a rational number whose decimal expansion terminates. Then x can be expressed in the form of P upon Q, where P and Q are co-prime and the prime factorization of Q is of the form 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n, m are non-negative integers. It sounds complicated, doesn't it? Never mind, we will simplify it for you. What this means is, for a given rational number, if we have to find out whether it has a terminating decimal representation or not, then first simplify the rational number by cancelling the common factors. And then find the prime factors of the denominator if the prime factors of denominator have only 2 or 5 as factors. Then our given rational number has a terminating decimal representation. Let us understand this with an example. First, take 21 upon 2800. Let us simplify this. We get 3 upon 400. Now, factorize the denominator. We get 3 upon 2 raised to the power 4 into 5 raised to the power 2. We see that denominator contains only 2 or 5 as factors and is in the form of 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n and m are non-negative integers. This means the decimal expansion is terminating. In case of 51 upon 192, after simplification, we get 17 upon 64 and then we get 17 upon 2 raised to the power 6. We can also write it as 17 upon 2 raised to the power 6 into 5 raised to the power 0 because 5 raised to the power 0 is equal to 1. We see here that denominator only has 2 as a factor and is in the form of 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m. This means the decimal expansion is terminating. In case of 160, upon 875, after simplification, we get 23 upon 125, which can be written as 23 upon 5 raised to the power 3. We can write it as 23 upon 5 raised to the power 3 into 2 raised to the power 0. We see here that denominator has only 5 as factor and is in the form of 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m. This means the decimal expansion is terminating. Now let us move over to the rational numbers whose decimal expansions are non-terminating and recurring. Let us see the long division of 1 upon 7. Here, remainders are 3, 2, 6, 4, 5, 1, 3 and so on, and the divisor is 7. Notice that the denominator here, that is 7, is clearly not of the form 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m. Therefore, we know that 1 upon 7 will not have a terminating decimal expansion. Hence, 0 will not show up as a remainder and the remainders will keep repeating after a certain step. So we have a block of digits, namely 142857, repeating in the quotient of 1 upon 7. Such numbers can be represented by the following theorem. If x equal to p upon q is a rational number such that the prime factorization of q is not of the form 2 raised to the power n into 5 raised to the power m, where n, m are non-negative integers, then x has a decimal expansion which is non-terminating, repeating, that is, recurring. In simple words, when after cancelling the common factors, denominator has factors other than 2 and 5, then it is non-terminating, repeating, that is, recurring. For example, after simplifying, we get 11 upon 280. And after factorizing the denominator, we have factors 2, 5 and 7. Since the denominator has factors other than 2 and 5, therefore it is non-terminating, repeating, that is, recurring. From this discussion, we can conclude that the decimal expansion of every rational number is either terminating or non-terminating, repeating.
Students, welcome back. Let's continue with the 10th NCERT Mathematics Chapter 1, that is Real Numbers, Lecture 17, Exercise 1.3 questions. Okay, so here I want to explain the exercise questions. So in exercise 1.3, the first question is prove that root 5 is irrational. So in the previous video, I just explained that how to find out whether the given number is rational or irrational. So in this in the previous video, I had taken root 2 and I proved that root 2 is an irrational number. Okay, now let's see this. We have to prove root 5 is irrational number. So while proving, the first thing is you have to just recall the theorem, whatever the theorem that we proved, that suppose the p divides a square. If p is a prime number, if p divides a square, a is an integer, then p divides a. Okay, so this is the theorem what we have proved already. So based on this theorem, we are going to prove whether the given number is a rational or irrational. Okay, now let's start the procedure. The first thing, whenever you want to solve, whenever you want to prove that the given number is irrational, let's assume it's a contradiction. Rather than irrational, proceed with the rational number. Okay, that is a contradiction. Let us assume root 5 is rational. So just think, just assume that the root 5 is rational. You don't know what that root 5 is. Whether it is rational or irrational, you don't know. But you need to prove. Okay, so to prove root 5 is irrational, first you need to take the contradiction and assume root 5 is rational. So that is, so whenever root 5 is rational means root 5 is equal to a by b. Because a by b, whenever the rational numbers are in the form of a by b, okay, where b is not equal to 0. those numbers you call it as a rational numbers. So root 5 is equal to a by b. A is equal to root 5b. So just square both sides. You will get a square is equal to 5b square. So let's take this is the first equation. So by seeing this, what you observed, a square is divisible by 5. According to our theorem, okay, let me write this. So according to our theorem, a square is divisible by 5. Okay, then a is divisible by 5. If a square divisible by 5 means, then a is also divisible by 5. Okay, so according to the theorem, now let's take a is divisible by 5. A is divisible by 5. So I am taking a is equal to 5c. A is divisible by 5. We know that c is equal to a by 5 according to our theorem. So here what is a c? A c is nothing but any integer. See, let's take some integer. Let's take c. Not only the c, whatever the alphabet you want, you just take it as, but that represents an integer. So according to this theorem, if a square is divisible by 5 means a is divisible by 5. So I am taking another expression because a is divisible by 5. Okay, and taken c as a constant here. Now just square on the both sides. You will get a square is equal to 5c whole square. That is 25c square. Okay, so this is the second equation. So just substitute in place of a square, the first equation, the 5b square, you need to substitute. So after substituting, so what you get? So in place of a square, just substitute this. So you'll get 5b square is equal to 5 square c square, because 5c whole square. So just strike off 1 5, you will get b square is equal to 5c square. Okay, even though you substitute, you get the same equation. Okay, b square is equal to 5c square. So by seeing these two equations, what you observed? A is divisible by 5, b is divisible by 5. So let me write this point. So by seeing this equation, what you understand? B square is divisible by 5. If b square is divisible by 5 means b is divisible by 5 according to our theorem. Okay, so b square is divisible by 5 means b is also divisible by 5. So by observing these two, a is divisible by 5. Let me write that point. So just you need to follow the step-by-step procedure to solve these problems. So by seeing this, a is divisible by 5 and b is divisible by 5. Okay, so from these two equations, what you observe? This a is divisible by 5 and b is divisible by 5 means. So by observing this, we are concluded that a and b are not co-prime numbers. Why they are not co-prime numbers? Because there is a common factor 5. A has a common factor 5 and B has a common factor 5. But according to our rule, okay, the root 5. So whatever the root 5 that is equal to A by B is a co-prime numbers. Co-prime numbers. Okay. Actually, this is the integers. If any in the integers, if you just strike off the common factors, then those numbers becomes the co-prime numbers. So if root is equal to p by q, so whatever we have solved the procedure, root 2 is equal to p by q. If there is any common factor, just strike off the common factors and make the new variable as root 2 is equal to a by b, which is a, b or the co-prime numbers. So that we solved in the root 2. In the previous example, root 2 is irrational. So just following that procedure. So we already solved root 2 is irrational. So just taking directly root 5 is equal to a by b, which are the co-prime numbers. Let's assume that. So this is all the assuming thing. Okay. So if A is divisible by 5, B is divisible by 5. So from these two equations, A and B are not co-primes. How can you say those are not co-prime numbers? Because both having the common factor 5. So no common factor should be there if the numbers are co-prime numbers. So the contradiction is failed. The contradiction is failed. That is, root 5 is not a rational number. So if it is not a rational number means then root 5 is a rational number. So finally we proved that. By taking the contradiction, root 5 as a rational, and we solve the problem, and finally we have proved. How you prove that? By A is divisible by 5 and B is divisible by 5. Both numbers are divisible by 5, means they are having the common factors. Whenever they are having the common factors, they are not co-prime numbers. If they are not co-prime numbers, then the number is an irrational number. Okay, so this is one example. Thank you.
Thank you for watching நம்ம சேனல். இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்ததுன்னா கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க. மறக்காம இந்த சேனலை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிட்டு பக்கத்துல இருக்கக்கூடிய பெல் பட்டனை ட்ரைன்